Hi, Andrews, it's me. Sorry if I look like crap. I'm not feeling particularly well tonight. It's been a long week here in the Manor House. The mutants outside have decided that they're going to reenact a concert series with their own horrible screeching and horrible music. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But we're here to talk about the Dark Tower 4.5, called The Wind Through the Keyhole, which bridges the gap, which tries to bridge the gap between the Dark Tower 4, Wizarding Glass, and number 5, Wolves of the Kala. In it, the winter is quickly approaching, and there are these storms during wintertime known as Stark Blast, which are massive, like, freezing fogs. If you're caught outside, it freezes everything it touches and basically kills, so you can't be caught outside during this period of storm. So Roland and his quartet, they find sanctuary in an old sheriff's station, a jail. They bore up the windows, they bore up the doors, they have enough supplies, and they gather enough firewood to survive the blasts. So while that's happening, Roland decides to tell them another story of his youth. A short while after coming back from the Barony Magus, and after killing his mother by accident, as we discussed in the previous video, Roland is sent by his father, Stephen Deschain, to the Barony of Deberia, where his mother was staying after she was sent away by his father for having an affair with Martin, the wizard, aka Randall Flagg. He goes with as one of his conmates, a future gunslinger by the name of Jamie DeCurry. Jamie has a kind of like a cherry blossom flex birthmark on his face. Jamie will be one of the original gunslingers to set out for the tower room when Roland and his quartet finally leave. Now, their mission in Debaria is to find a skin man, a shapeshifter who has decided to turn into various animals and terrorize and murder people in the barony. On their way there, Roland and Jamie run into a covenant of women in a small town named Serenity, right outside of the train yard, because they have to take horse the rest of the way to the Debaria. And that's where his mother was staying, actually, in Serenity, and they greet Roland, and Roland and Jamie find out that one of the women in there survived an attack from the Skin Man, and they talk to her for a little bit, and they talk to the matriarch there. And they finally ride into Deberia, where they meet the local sheriff, a man by the name of Hugh Peeves. Hugh and Roland's father have a bit of a past. Roland's father went there when he was younger and saved the life of Hugh, or Hugh saved the life of him. I really can't recall at the moment. Read and figure it out. But they go out to a farm where they find a survivor of the latest attack from the Skin Man, a young boy by the name of Bill. They figure that it might be a miner from the salt mines. So Jamie and the sheriff Hugh and a couple deputies go and round up the miners, and Roland takes Bill back to the jail. Roland uses the gunslinger trick with the hypnosis with the back of the bull on the back of his hand, and Bill, under a trance, tells Roland that he saw the ankle of the skin-changing creature. It's like a blue circle around it, which means he did jail time in the military. So while they're waiting for Jamie and them to get back with the miners, Roland tells Bill a story called The Wind Through the Keyhole, which is about a young boy named Tim and his mother Nell. Now, they live in a small village. Tim's father had been killed by a dragon attack, and Nell, his mother, remarried Tim's father's best friend, Brian, who is a drunk and abusive and beats them all. But there's a guy from the barony going around called the Covenant Man, and everyone's afraid of the Covenant Man, even especially Tim. Oh, God. Okay. So, as it happens, Brian beats Nell, the mother, till she's blind, and the Covenant man tells tells Tim to meet him in the woods, and the Covenant man says he knows of a potion that could restore his mother's sight. So the Covenant man, since Tim gets interested, gets a gun from his school teacher, and he sets out on a quest after getting a second vision from the Covenant man. Along with the help of a fairy, Tim is guided through the woods. He encounters a dragon, he encounters swamp mutants, he's saved by his gun because a group of swamp people believe him to be a gunslinger. And Tim is given a GPS device from the Great Ones that talk. So he has the fairy, he has the talking device, and he has the gun. He makes it to the end of the woods, and there's a tiger trapped in a cage, and a trap laid out for by the Covenant man, who in reality is actually Martin Broadcloak, aka Round the Flag, and just a mean old bastard. Now, Stark Blast is coming. Tim befriends the tiger in the cage, and the tiger and Tim and the fairy all survive the Stark Blast underneath a magical blanket. Now, as it turns out, the tiger is really the wizard Merlin from myth and lore, the Ageless Stranger, the real Ageless Stranger. And he gives Tim the potion to restore his mother's sight, and Tim takes the magic blanket, flies it like a magic carpet back to his mother. Also, Merlin defeats Martin. He sends him packing and says the king that Martin works for, the Crimson King, will punish him for his failings. So Tim doesn't need to fear. So Tim makes it back, gives his mother back his sight, and as Brian is beating Tim almost to death, the mother kills Tim. Not Tim. The mother kills Brian. And that kind of ends the story. Apparently Tim grows up, makes his way to the barony of Garland, becomes a gunslinger himself. So kind of a happy ending. And by the time this tale is done, Jamie and the sheriff have rounded up all the miners. They see the ankle. They find out who the skin changer is, and they kill him. Roland and Jamie kill him. They take Bill to Serenity. The women in the Covenant adopt Bill, and that kind of way it ends. And the Stark Blast for the Quartet is over with. Roland's story concluded, and they pack up and they head back along the path of the beam, where they'll pick up in the Dark Tower 5, Wolves of the Kala. So relatively short. It's more like a novella than an actual novel, and it did come out after the Dark Tower book itself, which came out in 2007. This book came out in 2012. And if you'll notice in the title, where I've been putting the subtitles of the books, which start with R, I don't know what the one is for this particular novelization, because I couldn't find it while searching. So if somebody knows it, they can tell me. Maybe share this video with Stephen King and he can tell me himself. I doubt that will happen, but anything's possible. Let's call it up to Ka. And, I've been saying you're the gunslinger in a lot of these videos, and what would you do? But, if you want to go back, watch the videos, and just give me your overall opinion of the book series or anything like that, that'd be welcome to write too. So, as always, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time.